we're here. Do you like the clap? I like doing the clap. I think it's a good way to get started.
Well, I know it helps with sound check too. If you ever have issues with microphones,
That's what they say.
that's what I learned.
The strongman I followed always does that, and it kind of became like their thing. But
Okay.
I think it's a good way to like just start the pod. Yep.
Maybe an audience clap.
Maybe that's our own. We're
Soundbite
clapping
later.
for ourselves.
There you go.
But yes, you are back, or you never left, depending on when this video is going to come out.
We'll see how the editing goes.
It's fine, but if you watched the last video by any chance, he's back. You never left. You're still the co-host, besides what you are telling yourself.
I felt replaced.
It's just I like to nerd out with Namir. Okay, there's nothing wrong with that.
That's fine.
But no, we're talking about today Christian nationalism, big hot topic because that goes along with the trend of the goal of getting canceled.
It's been a hot topic for a couple of years, but I think it kind of goes back to falling in line with some of the things we talked about.
Yeah,
in the last few shows too.
Yeah, especially in recent times. Like, I mean, especially during the holiday season. Like, I mean, we just had Halloween like this past weekend. Like, America has its own view of celebrating it versus what Christians think they should be doing. Is Halloween Christian? Like that whole debacle. We're a little past it now, but me and you are pretty much aligned of like how we see Halloween. Like,
right,
whether it's good or not good, like it can be taken back by Christ.
And that's how I feel about it.
Yeah.
I do think Halloween has an evil core to it, I guess you could say, an evil start to it. And I don't prefer using the word Halloween. I don't think you're going to get in trouble with God for saying that.
Yeah, everyone has their own little flavor. It's like Harvest or Reformation Day.
And so to use it as outreach, to give candy to your community, and a lot of churches do trunk or treat and stuff now. To me, it's all good things. And when you can get thousands of people out there now, because pretty much every church is doing it, a lot of outreach programs are doing it.
Yeah.
A lot of schools are doing it. If you're feeding the community, even if it's just some junk food, and there's a point of more community and people are coming together and people are being safe, I don't see any harm in it.
Yeah. And just to address, I don't want to go on a full Halloween tangent. Just to address, like, these people who are like, oh, but look at the Satanists. They are claiming that this is the day they celebrate, we're at our darkest, most powerful, like former Satanists are saying, like, yeah, on this day, there's the most human sacrifices. All that being said, like, let's say for the fact, let's say they're right. Like, oh, we are the most active in this day. But let's say they did the exact same thing on Christmas. No one would care.
Yeah. And that's
it's the same way we should, like, okay, let's say they do on Halloween. Cool. Who cares?
Yeah. We're not coming together and like as a church and praying that, oh, well, I hope everybody has a successful Halloween, whatever it is you're doing.
Yeah.
We're not saying that. We literally come together and pray that more people come to church, come get some candy, and everybody be safe, and then there's still people out there committing pranks, whatever. You don't not come together as a community because you go, well, these other people over here are doing this.
Yeah. Yeah. Your personal conviction is not Christian standard. We'll end it right there. But I will say this, Day of the Dead, November 1st, you shouldn't be doing that if you're a Christian. Just saying. Like, Dia de los Muertos, if that's your background, if you think that's your culture, hey, Christianity is greater than your culture. All right.
Now you're really gonna upset people.
100%. I don't care. There's gonna be that one Latina grandma or mom or dad who's like, oh, that's from my people. That's from our ancestors. No, they're either in heaven or in hell. There's only two places. All right. They're not roaming the earth. They're not returning to you. Your connection to them isn't stronger. Stop that. All right. Praise God. Go to church. Stop with Day of the Dead. Right. But to kind of carry on to our whole Christian nationalism topic for today, is America a Christian nation? Was it designed to be? Is it today?
I think it was written, designed, built on Christian ideals by majority Christian men, and I think that was the plan. Yes, Jefferson, who wrote the Declaration, was like, he's the one that talked about the separation of church and state.
Yeah.
A lot of people think that's on the Constitution. It's not.
Yeah.
But Jefferson, who literally wrote our letter to the king saying we no longer want to be a part of your government anymore. But I think a lot of it, you have to understand context.
Yeah.
Jefferson's mindset was like, keep in mind why a lot of the pilgrims came to America too, was for religious persecution, right? The church telling them they had to celebrate a certain way and, blah, blah, blah. That's why he saw it. He didn't want a king telling you what belief you could have. And he didn't want a monarchy.
Yeah.
And I understand that. And I agree with that part. I think ideally, if you could build a Christian nation, that the leaders would never become corrupt. I think that's a good thing. But to his point, and I think that's to everybody's point that ever talks about the idea of Christian nationalism being a bad idea, yeah, you could have corrupt leaders. I'm not saying to change our form of government. I'm not saying to become a monarchy. I'm saying that respect the ideals of where this country was founded on.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, even to George Washington's point too, like they want him to be a monarch. They were like, "Oh, you're a great leader. You got us through the war. Like, yeah, we should make you king." But even he was like, "No, that's literally the whole reason we fought this war."
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
And we've gone back and forth on this a lot. Like, I think we would both agree that during the time of like the Revolutionary War, the colonies, we would agree that Great Britain was actually more Christian, technically, in its like doctrine, way more than America was, or it tried to be. And it's the same conversation where I think they were afraid to go fully headfirst into being just full Christian nation, like full verbiage and everything, because they were trying to like escape what they were escaping when it comes to the Great Britain.
Right.
You know? And I think had they committed to that, you know, I think me and you have talked about this, I don't think the Declaration would have been signed. You know? I feel like there would have been way too much conflict trying to get it signed.
I think the mindset of pulling away from England is very much your guy that is like, yeah, I'm anti-government and I'm over this.
Yeah.
Because people are burnt out at that point.
Yeah.
People were abused and tired of being walked on. And so like that anti-government mindset, like I'm not saying you can't be Christian and be anti-government, but I'm saying their mindset wasn't, I need to break away from England so I could celebrate God. No, there wasn't a mindset. Nobody was being persecuted at that time.
Right. It was strictly just having a monarch.
Like, it was just, we're just tired of this king.
Yeah.
And I don't want to live this way anymore. I want to be left alone and live on my own plot of land, or even if they did live in the city, people just wanted to be left alone. That was the mindset. And so the point being is that there wasn't religious persecution of why the Revolutionary War started. So therefore you just had a lot of people who were just like, I'm tired of it. They were rebels. They were, you know, tough people who just wanted nothing to do with any form of government. You know, a lot of people don't know this, that the American government was very, very small, of course, at the time. So that was part of the reason. But also they didn't start paying, nobody had to pay taxes for like 7 years or something like that.
Yep.
They were like, we are not going to ask these people for taxes for a while.
But then they realized, hey, we need funds.
We need funds as a government
to continue a country.
So, you know what I mean? But like, you know, all that being said, the ideals of what everything was written on. I mean, the Declaration literally says that, you know, talks about our God-given rights and the way that God designed us to be. You know, there is that idea of like, yeah, I get it. Like God designed us to operate in a certain way. And the main thing was that they believed that freedom was a God-given right.
Yeah.
You know, all those things being said, I think we're a healthier and better country when we're more focused on our Christian ideals.
Agreed.
You know, I get it. We're biased as being Christian believers, but I think as we continue to see, and as we've talked about in the last couple of episodes, the more we peel away and the more we pull away from God, from Christianity, from what the original ideals of this country were, the worse off we're becoming. And I don't think it's a good thing.
Not to mention, like, to go back to Great Britain, like we're kind of seeing that right now. Like they have a heavy like Islamic population growing in Europe, in the UK. And you're seeing a kind of like a decay in their culture. Like you're seeing like over censorship, you're seeing increased violence, like you're seeing things that, you know, would be typical of that type of like.
When it sounds fake, but like even in America, you're not allowed to now pray or protest near an abortion clinic. I think it's now you have to be on the opposite side of the street.
Yeah.
And then in England, you have to be even further away from that. I can't remember what the law is, but like if you guys think this is not real, seriously look it up, watch the videos, because I've seen the videos. That if you are closing your eyes and appear to be praying outside of an abortion clinic, you will be arrested. Which is just, I mean, how dystopian can you get?
Yeah, even like I think I read in Scotland last year that you're no longer allowed to pray, like openly pray in your own home, apparently. Like, how do you even like have that standard? Like,
so someone can come into my house and say it won't be Thanksgiving in Scotland, but I mean, Christmas. So, you know, you want to open up dinner with prayer. Somebody
they can report you,
and I don't know if you get a fine. I don't know. If
can you imagine your whole family member just turning against? You want to talk about in-law beef? Give them a reason.
This is why I believe, and I don't think I've ever said this in the pod.
Yeah.
This is why I believe as a Christian, you are allowed to get into fistfights.
You are.
Because I promise you, if you have me arrested or give me a ticket for praying inside my own home,
you're going to fight.
Don't come over to my house.
You're like, I'm going to bail.
Yeah.
I'm going to get bailed out and I'm going to find you. I know where you live.
Like, that's incredible to me. But I mean, the same thing kind of happened here with COVID.
Yeah.
You know,
people were getting called on for like, oh, you're having get-togethers during COVID. Like, why are you having?
And the police were showing up at their house.
Yep, like this is what your resources are being wasted on, apparently. You know, but I would agree with you. Like, I think America was founded on Christian ideals. I think they were kind of hesitant to go full blown Christian, similar to the UK, even like other countries today that are very, very intertwined with Christian doctrine, like Uganda, for example. Like they're are just flat out a Christian nation.
Right.
I don't think America has that title, but I think that's, I mean, for me and you would agree, I think that's what we want it to be. Like, I think we want to be full blown Christian nation.
Right.
You're going to get a lot of pushback.
You're going to get a lot of pushback. And I don't think it'll ever happen either.
Right. I don't think in our lifetimes, obviously, but I think obviously that should be our goal to strive for.
You should always strive for it.
Right.
I agree with that, but I just don't see it ever happening.
Especially with the negative connotation behind Christian nationalism. Like, I think it's just like it's used as a scare word these days, you know, and not to mention when people say, oh, like white Christian nationalists, adding like, why are you adding that as like a pretext to what's going on?
So the point being, like, the only reason these words exist now is, again, like we talked about this, I think on last week's episode, that these are buzzwords. This is just to be able to write it down.
And we give the words meaning. Yeah.
And somebody will read it and say, oh my gosh, Christian nationalism is a bad thing. Or they hear it on their favorite TV show or talk show. And then they add, once you've said that word enough times, then they'll add out white Christian nationalism. Yeah. Now it is a bad word, and I agree with that. Like, that's literally what the KKK is, you know, is that believing that God designed white people to be his people, and they're the only true Christians. And I'm like, that's evil. Like, that is evil.
Literally, yes.
You know, and so now people have used Christian nationalism and that word for so long that they squeeze in that word white in front of it now, and now they correlate the two.
Yeah.
So now if you come out and say I'm a Christian nationalist, they're going to correlate you with white Christian nationalism. It's such an overplayed trick.
Yeah.
It's absolutely ridiculous.
And you need clarification when it comes to these terms, because if you break down the actual verbiage of Christian and nationalist, like look at nationalist, like, oh, what does that mean? Someone who puts their nation first,
right?
Which I hope would be most Americans. Like, yes, we should be, you know, aidful to other countries when we can, but the priority should be our states.
But only recently, since Doge, you know, and then now all these publicly debated every time we shut the government down because of releasing a budget. Only at that time do we ever hear about, we're not just helping other countries. We're paying to have, I'm trying to remember what it was. They're like re-educating people. Point being, like, I'm not going to butcher any of the stories that I read, but like, point being, like, pushing LGBTQ rights in other countries. Well, can we just focus on, like, yes, you know, Uganda needs humanitarian aid. We're sending food over there. Like,
Nigeria.
Fine. Nobody has a problem with that.
Yeah.
We talked about on last week's episode, sending money over for wars, kind of over it.
Yeah.
I'm ready for that to be done.
Yeah.
But like, you can help other countries out, but also we have so much wasteful spending.
Yeah.
Like, that's where I feel as a nationalist, I'm like kind of over it.
Yeah.
I don't want to be involved in anybody's wars anymore. I don't even want to send over guns and missiles anymore.
Yeah.
I don't want to do any of that. There's exceptions. I get it. You know, like, Ukraine is a trade partner, so we kind of do have to protect them. Okay, but for how long? Like, how long do we have to be involved in all these world?
What landmarks do we need to see to say, like, hey, we're good to pull out now. We're good to pull out aid. Like, this, it's kind of very an ambiguous line,
right?
Where it can get stretched out. We've seen it being stretched out even to today, you know. But to go back to my point, like, like, there shouldn't be any issue of saying, like, yes, I think the nation I live in should be my priority list. And then, of course, as Christians, it's pretty self-explanatory. Like, we want our Christian ideals to be represented in our nation. That's what I think Christian nationalism should be. It shouldn't be a derogatory term. It shouldn't be something that's, you know, coincided with being hateful. Like, no. And, you know, you brought up a good point. Like, I think, like, groups like the KKK, even like Black Hebrew Israelites, like on the other side of that spectrum, they want their views applied by force. I'm like, no. My ideal world for a Christian nation is for everybody, the majority of a nation, to be Christian. 100%. So the natural, logical step for the laws of that country to represent the views of the people. And in this case, they're Christian, then the laws of the nation would be primarily Christian views.
Right.
That's what it should be. I don't believe in, like, oh, just one day the next administration makes every law Christian based. If half the country ain't Christian, you're gonna have chaos and conflict and clap back on everything. Like, that's not gonna be what saves souls and saves lives. That should be our primary goal, our main goal. And I don't think any Christian out there should feel bad about that. Like, no. If anything, that should be your goal. If you are a Christian who lives in said nation, whether that's America, whether that's Nigeria, the UK, if you are a Christian, your goal should be to get your nation to be Christianized. You want to see as many people as saved as possible, and you want to see as many of your fellow brethren and your sisters as Christian, because you know in your Christian brain that means they're saved. That's salvation for them. So of course you would want those ideals shared in your nation.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And I totally agree with that. Everything you said, and anybody who would push back on that, like, just at least understand and respect the fact that we believe that if you are not saved, you're going to go to hell. Like, so therefore, it's not that I just want to indoctrinate you with my ideas. Like, I want to see every person going to heaven,
Yeah.
as much as possible, anyway.
Yeah.
So, like, yeah, I totally agree with your point.
And like, yeah, are there like things that need to be like discussed in gray areas? Yeah, like of course. Like, what does that mean for it comes to like feeding the hungry and the poor? Does that mean taking the taxes from the people to do that? Does it mean we have to let the church do the other thing of being charitable? Like, yeah, there's a discussion to be had. But the primary things we should focus on are like things like, oh yeah, protecting the unborn, making sure people are properly being prosecuted. Like, I think people have this misconception like, oh, we're just going to enforce like Old Testament law when a Christian nation is being like instructed. I'm like, no, like we're not gonna be stoning people in the streets. Like, that's not what, like, show me one Christian country or world that does that today. Like, you're like, oh, stone. Like, no, I haven't seen any stoning, you know? So I'm like, you just have to make sure these laws are executed and go along with Christian ideals.
Well, and to get to your point of like, yeah, there's gray areas and things that we can discuss. And like, just remember that, I think we are a pretty giving and blessing nation. Like, we try to take care of our people.
Yeah.
And I used to, when I first started voting, I used to disagree with social safety nets completely. And it's probably just my mindset. It was like, well, everybody I know is like working for what they have. Why should everybody else get it for free? Now, like, then I became more libertarian for a while, and I'm like, okay, anyway, as a Christian conservative, I think I'm more Christian and more conservative than I've ever been in my life at this point now.
Agreed.
I believe in social safety nets, mainly because I'm like, I get it. Like, we are the most prosperous nation in the world. Yeah, we're $37 trillion in debt, and that needs to be fixed before the bottom falls out.
Yeah.
But again, if we're sending billions of dollars to Ukraine, we're sending billions of dollars to Israel, if we're sending billions of dollars to Haiti, and we're doing all this for all these other countries, we should at least have the social safety nets to make sure no Americans 100%. Starve.
And I think people who want everything, I'm like, you guys don't realize, like, these funds aren't just coming out of nowhere. We have to direct them. You can't have a heart for Ukraine and Palestine, but also be complaining that your SNAP benefits are be taken away. Like, the funds have to be put somewhere. You can't have it everywhere stretched out.
Well, I would just like the SNAP benefits, the EBT, to stop being abused. And I think that's what this whole talk is of everything that's going on right now.
Yeah, recently.
Like, I'm going to put it out there, and people aren't going to like it. If you are on any social program, you should not be eating better than somebody that's working.
Yeah, 100%. It shouldn't be wasted on fast food or energy drinks or candy. Like, no, it should be for groceries, stuff that you have to make and actually put labor in.
Your essentials.
Your essentials. And I literally talked about this a couple of days ago off of an Instagram story, because someone asked me, it was like, as a Christian, like, what are your thoughts on SNAP benefits being taken away? And I was very honest with them. I was like, the reality is, yes, people who are generally benefiting from these that actually need it are going to suffer. Whether that's elderly and children, 100%. That is a sad. I'm not saying that's going to be okay. We shouldn't laugh about that, 100%. But we also have to understand that these same benefits that went to them are being abused by others.
Yeah.
And that's why these things are more likely being taken away, because there's been a strong abuse of the system for so long.
Right.
And to find out, as my point, as a Christian, this is when the church needs to step up the most. Like, we shouldn't be relying on government for charity or to help us at every single step of the way. Like, no, this is where the church needs to step up and actually back up our charitable ideals. This is why we fight back against the idea of like, oh, if you want to be a Christian nation, just tax the freak out of us, so that way we can send all these people to get homes and food. I'm like, no, it has to be charity. If you're forcibly taken away from me, it's no longer charitable.
Right.
Like, we have to make sure that the poverty and the poor and the hungry are fed. But I think that's what the church needs to do. I think that's what we need to be as Christians. It should be on government.
I saw something really cool yesterday, which did impress me, and it made me kind of go, hey guys, we could be doing this every day.
Yeah.
I went to the grocery store, and the Boy Scouts and the Girl Scouts were both there. And I'm like, it's not cookie selling season, is it? No, what they were doing was giving a list of things they're asking you to buy.
Yeah.
No one was harassing anybody on the way out.
Good.
Simply gave you a list.
Good.
And said, here's items that we need for the food bank. If you buy them and you're willing to donate, we're putting it out front here. We're going to take it to the food bank at the later today for people who are hungry. And I'm sure the idea was everybody's talking about EBT and SNAP benefits being cut back. Right? Cool. Great. I am all for it. Two things. One, it shows me we are capable, right, of our own free will to step up with the Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, churches, your local community group, your local debate team, whatever you want to do. Like, we are capable of taking care of our own. We are more than capable. We don't need government to do it all the time, right? I'm fine with the social safety nets existing, but again, like we're stepping up as community because we're seeing that people are in need. We see that there may be a problem of the elderly lady down the street not getting her food stamps.
Yeah.
And we're coming together as a community and saying, here, let's go give them food. Let's take them food. Why weren't we doing that before? Why are we only doing this now when EBT and SNAP? And I'm not criticizing the Boys and Girl Scouts for doing that. I am saying that we are capable of doing this. Like we are more than capable of doing this as Americans, as a nation. I get it. There's poorer communities out there that maybe that community can't come together. Again, like the more outreach, fine. Like let's drive to that place that's a food desert and go make sure that they have food every weekend. Let's make sure they're good to go. But also, you know, I heard a really cool story from a pastor several years ago. They were going to a South American country for like 10 or 15 years.
Oh, wow.
And they would bring them food every couple of months. And something had gone on. I think it was COVID.
Okay.
And so like travel was restricted and this, that, and the other. So they took an extra few weeks to come out and bring food to them. And one of the people in the village had said, we were really worried you weren't going to come. And it was like, why? And it was like, well, we don't eat without you guys. And he goes, I realized right then and there we had to change our ministry.
Yeah.
He's like, we're still going to bring them food, but we're also going to start bringing farming equipment.
Yeah, they grew
we're
dependent.
also going to teach them how to dig a well.
Yeah.
We're going to start teaching them how to raise cattle. And he totally changed his ministry. And now these people are starting to learn how to farm and be self-sufficient.
Yeah.
And he's still feeding them at the same time, you know? So that's great. Like, I'm not saying that you just don't bring them food anymore, but people got to learn how to feed themselves too. You know, anyway, all that to say, like, I got on my soapbox there for a minute, but like, my point is being like, guys, if it does bother you that much and you're that worried about people on EBT, go help out a soup kitchen.
Yeah, help out a soup kitchen, volunteer at your local church. Because I'm sure wherever you are, there is a church that needs your assistance.
I promise you, you can find plenty of places online you can donate a bag of groceries to as well.
Yep. I don't know why that story brings up something that happened. That guy was actually talking about who works on a national park. And one of the reasons we don't feed animals at national parks.
You're going to upset more people.
I probably am. I'm just saying. One of the reasons we don't, and I remember specifically too, because I went to San Diego Zoo and they had a mother bear and its 2 cubs at the zoo enclosure. And the reason they were pulled out of the national park is because they grew dependent on people who would visit the park feeding them. And they realized, oh, they got so used and routinely to feeding off the visitors and the volunteers at the national parks that they no longer knew how to hunt. So they pulled them out. It's like, well, you don't know how to hunt anymore. So now you can't really survive on your own anymore. So it's the same mentality here. And if you get upset, I'm just saying to argue with the national parks. But it's true though. If you build a system of routine where you have someone or something becoming independent, they'll never learn to be self-sufficient. That's what anything. Or the other story I had with Ukaipa. Remember about that when during the winds and the power outages?
Oh, you remind me.
Yeah, so I want to say it was last year, because when me and Jen were newly in Ukaipa, we had just moved there, but maybe like a couple months later. It had to be maybe right before like crazy wind season. I don't know what time of year that is. Might be around fall. But all the power outages from Edison were being knocked down. And there would be like live wires in the streets. People would lose power for like days, it seemed like. And a lot of people were getting worried because you have high winds causing debris. You had a lot of like people's like electronics not working. And people were starting to like complain. It's like, hey, like to the city of Ukaipa, are you guys going to have like shelters for people who don't have power? Are going to have like maybe like resources for people who don't have lost their food in their refrigerators? There's no stoplights in the streets. Are you going to have like, crosswalk signs? Like, what are you guys going to do for us? And the city of Ukaipa had like a council meeting like the very next day, like after people were commenting like on the Ukaipa Facebook page and everything. And they were like, guys, like, I don't know how big you think our local government is. Like, we don't provide these things for you. Like, we don't do like shelters or resources. We have like churches in the area that do actually, but we as the city of Ukaipa don't really provide that. Like, even with the sign thing, they made a comment. It was like, well, during high winds that actually would cause damage. So we're not going to do that either. But my point is that Ukaipa is actually a very, very majority conservative little town, right? But it's just weird how, like, I'm not sure, maybe it was just maybe a change of mindset in recent years or what, but how are we going to go from the super conservative, I'm going to take care of myself mentality, but as soon as crap hits the fan, we're like, city of Ukaipa, how can you help me? I'm like, no, you can't stand on this business, and then as soon as like crap hits the fan, you like change your mind. I'm like, no, we have to stand for our beliefs when things are great and when things are bad.
Absolutely.
So it just goes to show you, like, don't be overly dependent on anything except for Jesus, by the way.
Again, our government should exist as a social safety net all the time. Like,
Yep.
That's what the military is there for, is to protect Americans. That's
Protect
what the police are
Americans.
there for, is to protect us.
Yep.
So firefighters are for, is to make sure
International
your house doesn't burn
relations,
down.
like it's there for a reason.
Your taxes go there to protect you as a government, and that's fine. Like, but government is bigger than it ever has been.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's a good thing.
Yeah.
And so therefore people are just going all the time, what is the government going to do? What is the government going to do? What is the government going to do? We need to get back to the mindset of like, what are you going to do? Like, what are you going to do for your neighbors? What are you going to do for yourself? What are you going to do for your family, your kids, your wife, your husband? What are you going to do for your family? Like,
Yeah.
I don't understand how we got to this place of we immediately go, Uncle Sam, where's my money? Uncle Sam, where's my food? Uncle Sam, where's my house? Like,
yeah.
But that being said, Jordan Peterson talked about this a couple years ago. This is not me being pessimistic. This is me saying like this is a realistic idea of where we're going. Is you have to understand, as you know, technology gets smarter. We're in the age of AI. A lot of jobs are going to be replaced.
That's true.
We are looking at automatic vehicles. What does that do to truck drivers and things as such? Things are going to become more and more automated, which means less and less jobs, especially for the middle and lower middle class and the lower class.
Yeah.
Walk into your local McDonald's. 99% of them now, when you walk in, you don't walk to the counter and talk to the cashier anymore.
Yeah.
It says, we'll take care of you right here. Little digital kiosk, and they'll bring your food out when it's ready.
It's just
so how long until fast food is literally just a big window? You don't even get to see the employees, and your food gets put out on a tray out before you. So again, that means less work for people who don't have high skill or high education jobs. How do you take care of those people?
Yeah.
So I think you're going to see more government programs, food.
Yeah.
Eventually, I think you are going to look at a universal basic income. I'm not saying these are good things. I think it is
just a natural outcome.
I think,
or I guess even like in more present day time, like we have like our veterans or our not veterans, but like our military personnel right now who are currently like struggling because of a military shutdown. Like those, I think, are the individuals the country needs to be prioritizing, because like they literally are fed by the government.
Right.
Like their literal like money is based from them and their them being open and stuff.
Right.
Even my own family, that's being evident right now. Like it's not like that's not a good thing whatsoever. Like, so if we're gonna be passionate about something, let's be passionate about those people, because like they literally like that is their job, but now their job isn't paying them.
And they're choosing to serve you. Like they're choosing. It's just ironic that we can't pay our military members, and I get it that like your local police are city or state funded, depending on where you're at. So you know the same thing. The guys that are kind of protecting you. So we can fund our police, we can fund our firefighters, we can fund our social workers, but we can't fund our military members.
Yeah.
I just find that really ironic.
Yeah.
I don't know. I get it. The government shut down, which means no more spending. But there's always workarounds. Like,
yeah, there's ways to definitely approve certain things in a timely manner. So it's just frustrating to see. Also, I will say this too: just because if you are getting like your benefits taken away, we don't encourage stealing either. That's very wrong. And yeah, if you're a Christian, definitely don't do that. You got to answer to Jesus on that one.
Don't encourage it. Don't do it.
Don't do it.
It's evil all the way around.
Yep.
Because remember that, Walmart can afford it. Walmart can afford it. Why can they afford it? Because they're going to raise the prices on everybody else as you're stealing.
Yeah, everybody is affected. Like, don't just say like you are like, oh, no one's going to get hurt from this. Like, no, you are affecting others. Definitely.
The Walmart CEO is never going to pinch pennies. I promise you. Every single time they have a bad quarter, he makes sure to take it out of somewhere else besides his salary.
Yeah.
So everybody else is affected. So don't have this mindset of these companies are so big they can afford for me to steal from them every once in a while.
We don't encourage it. Once again, we encourage you to go to any local church. Some big ones in the IE, if you're familiar, like the Rock Church, the Way, Sandals. These are big churches that have a lot of resources to get you guys. Like literally even before this whole EBT thing was even talked about, like every Thursday they have a food drive for people that need food. Like, you know, so please, we encourage you, go there, attend service, and yeah, like there's no need to steal. Don't lower yourself. Don't break your morals, okay? Just because times are tough. So
get fed spiritually and feed your tum-tum.
Feed your tum-tum. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, that's everything I have to say. This is a good place to call it.
I think it's a good place to call it on Christian nationalism.
Christian nationalism. So kind of a shorter video today. I know it's kind of like a heater word that we see a lot, but I think something that we need to address, especially on a channel. You know, Deus Vult dudes about saying things that need to be said, especially from the Christian point of view. So that definitely feel like something we need to talk about. But yeah, other than that, guys, like the video, subscribe, leave a comment, give us your thoughts. Tell us why we're wrong. If we're wrong, let us know. Show us the verses, and we'll throw verses back at you, because I love doing that.
Just remember, if you say we're wrong, you're wrong.
You're wrong. Actually, yeah, that's a good place. Yeah. I was like 100%. All right. See you guys next time. Get out of here. God bless you.